Discovered. Billionaire's heartwarming encounter with Maid's daughter at 3 a.m. reveals incredible transformation. Jack Thompson leaned back on his plush leather couch, the remnants of the gala still swirling in his mind. The night had been filled with shimmering jewels, clinking glasses, and the hollow laughter of LA's elite. Yet, as he stared out at the sprawling view of the city, he felt an emptiness wrap around him. Then the muffled cries shattered the silence. Curiosity pulled him from his comfortable seat. He walked through the expansive hallways of his mansion, the echo of his footsteps blending with the distant symphony of Hollywood glamour, until he reached the staff quarters. There, he found 18-year-old Mia, the daughter of his housekeeper, sitting on the floor, tears streaming down her cheeks. The sight broke his heart. Her sobs cut through the thick air. Jack knelt beside her, unsure of what to say. "Mia, what's wrong?" he whispered, his voice softer than he intended. At that moment, it felt as if the walls of his opulent life were crumbling around him, revealing a reality far more profound than the extravagance he was used to. "I don't know how to keep going," she managed between gasps, clutching a worn notebook filled with her dreams of college and a better life. "My mom's sick, and I'm just so tired." Her words hit Jack like a punch to the gut. He felt a tightness in his chest, a swell of guilt for his privileged existence. As he listened, Mia shared her struggles, the weight of her family's burden dragging her down. Yet her resolve shone through like a beacon. This wasn't just a sob story. It was a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Jack found himself leaning closer, hanging on her every word. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Mia wiped her tears, her determination bubbling back to the surface. "I just want to make my mom proud," she declared, a flicker of hope igniting in her eyes. Jack felt inspired. She was the living embodiment of the American dream he often discussed but never truly understood. As Mia South's relentless drive seeped into his very core, Jack grappled with the disparity between their lives. Was he willing to stand against the tide of his affluent society? The voices of his elite friends echoed in his mind, their dismissive remarks about people like Mia ringing louder with each passing moment. "She asked the help, not one of us," they'd snicker, dismissing anyone who dared to dream beneath their skyscraper-sized egos. Yet, in that dimly lit staff room, the world outside faded, leaving only Jack and Mia. He made a silent vow to help her, to not only mentor her, but to fight against the invisible barriers holding her back. They both could change, he thought, and maybe just maybe together they could bridge the divide. But would society allow it? The question loomed, heavy in the air as they sat side by side, surrounded by shadows. Jack could sense that a storm was brewing, one that could either establish a beautiful friendship, or tear them apart as they ventured into uncharted waters filled with societal expectations. The night wore on, and with each passing moment, the stakes grew higher. Jack felt a shift in the air, the weight of their unspoken connection settling in. He couldn't just walk away from this moment. Something deep within pushed him to take action. "Mia," he said gently, "how about we sit down and figure this out together? You don't have to face this alone." Her eyes widened in surprise. "You want to help me? Really?" There was a spark of disbelief mingling with hope in her gaze. For a moment, Jack could see the girl she might become, not just the girl who was weighed down by her circumstances. "Absolutely," he replied, feeling a rush of passion for something greater than himself. "Let us make a plan for your future. College, scholarships, whatever it takes." Mia took a deep breath, a hint of a smile creeping onto her lips. "You mean that?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "You're not just saying it?" Jack shook his head. "You're fighting so hard to chase your dreams. I want to help you do that. You deserve it." As they talked late into the night, ideas flowed like the gentle breeze through the open window. Schedules for tutoring, walks to nearby libraries, and late-night brainstorming sessions became part of their vocabulary. Jack felt lighter with each shared idea, It was as if he had stepped out from behind a curtain of privilege into a new reality filled with possibility. The shadows from their earlier conversation began to lift, replaced by a palpable excitement that grew visible in Mia's features. She sat up straighter, her expressions shifting from despair to determination, her ambition lighting up the room. "Wow, this feels so unreal," she said, biting her lip. "I've always dreamed of going to college, but now, the dream was palpable within reach." Jack felt his heart swell with a mix of admiration and responsibility. By helping Mia, he wasn't just giving her a lifeline. He was allowing himself to rediscover purpose in a world that often felt shallow and empty. Hours slipped by unnoticed as they exchanged stories. Mia talked about her favorite subjects, her passion for literature, and how a book had once sparked her idea of a better life. Jack shared his own struggles, the expectations of his family, and how sometimes even the richest can feel the most isolated. Eventually, two figures shaped under the dim light of the room became more than just a billionaire and a housekeeper's daughter. They became allies, friends against the backdrop of an unforgiving society. The atmosphere thrummed with a shared sense of hope and determination. But as dawn approached, reality reared its head. Jack's phone buzzed, and he glanced at the screen, his heart sinking slightly. It was a text from his father about the next corporate meeting. A reminder of the life he never truly felt fit into anymore. "What's wrong?" Mia noticed his shift in demeanor. "Just work stuff," he replied, trying to pull his attention back to her. "But let us keep this momentum going. We can make a real difference together. Promise? Promise." Yet, in the back of his mind, Jack questioned how long he could balance these two worlds: the high-stakes corporate life and the genuine connection he had just begun to forge. When he finally looked back at her, Mia had shifted, her own excitement mixed with the weight of future uncertainty. What if this partnership changed everything? As Jack stepped away, looking back at a determined Mia, he realized that new challenges awaited on the horizon. And perhaps, more than just Mia's aspirations were at stake. Would he dare to take a stand against the expectations of his world? With that thought echoing in his mind, he knew the real journey was only just beginning. Jack sat in his room, the morning sun painting golden stripes across the walls. He was still buzzing from the previous night. The energy between him and Mia had shifted something inside him. Just thinking about their plans brought a smile to his face. They could do this. They would do this. But doubt crept in as he scrolled through messages from his father. They were reminders of meetings, of pressures, of expectations that weighed down heavily on him. Each beep was a stark contrast to the hope that Mia brought into his life. He sighed, hitting the back button again and again as if to erase them from existence. "Jack." His father's voice boomed from downstairs. "Come here now." The usual authority in his tone sent an uneasy chill through Jack. "Coming," he called back, steeling himself for whatever lecture awaited him. He took one last glance at Mia's smiling face from the photo they took together during their brainstorming session. She wasn't just a girl from another world. She was a beacon of light shining through his cracks of privilege. As he descended the stairs, the striking wooden paneling and the grand chandelier felt suffocatingly familiar. His father's office door was ajar, and Jack could hear the brisk shuffle of papers. "Sit," his father commanded as Jack stepped inside. "Dad, not now, Jack. You need to think about your future. There's a larger world out there. You can't just run around with the help and expect that to be enough." A fire ignited in his chest. "Mia is more than just the help," he shot back, feeling the heat rush to his cheeks. "She has dreams just like I do." His father leaned back, his brow furrowed in disbelief. "Dreams? You think you can save her? You have a responsibility to this family, to your future. This college, this company, everything we've built is at stake." "Maybe that's not what I want," Jack fired back, heart racing. "Maybe I want a future where I can actually make a difference. Where I can help someone who is trying to pull herself up." Silence fell between them, thick and heavy. Jack felt like he had taken a stand, but he wasn't sure what would come of it. His father's gaze hardened, the disappointment evident. "Choose wisely, son. You can keep playing hero, or you can accept reality. But mark my words. The world won't change for your ideals." Jack stormed out, overwhelmed by a mix of anger and a burning desire to fight for Mia. He threw himself against the door of his room and took a few deep breaths, trying to calm the spell of uncertainty spinning in his head. No more putting off his dreams. He had to see Mia. When he arrived at her place, he found her sitting on the porch, staring into the distance. She seemed lost in thought, and his heart ached for her. "Mia," he called, waving as he approached. Her head snapped up, and her eyes widened with surprise. "Jack. What's wrong?" He took a seat next to her, the warmth of the sun contrasting with the chill of the morning air. "I chose to fight. I want to help you, and I'm not going to let anyone tell me otherwise." Her eyes bore into his, and Jack could see the disbelief mixed with hope returning. "You really mean that?" "I do. But it's not just your fight anymore. It's ours." Mia's expression shifted, a spark igniting in her eyes. "What do we do first?" He took a breath. "We make a plan. One that will not just change your future, but will make a mark on both our worlds." As they began to talk, mapping out ideas and possibilities, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that a storm was brewing. They were both stepping into a deeper unknown. Would they face opposition? Would they discover more than they bargained for? But one thing hung in the air like the sweetness of summer together. They could face anything. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, Jack suddenly felt a knot of fear in his stomach. How far would his father go to stop them? He needed to brace himself. The future wouldn't be easy, and he would soon find out how far he was willing to go for Mia. The next morning brought a heaviness that lingered in the air. Jack awoke to the sound of his father's booming voice echoing through the house. He lay still for a moment, trying to shake off the memories of last night's confrontation. The weight of his father's words replayed in his mind like a broken record. He dressed quickly, forcing himself to focus on the day ahead. Mia needed him, and he wouldn't let fear stop him from making a difference. After breakfast, he practically raced to the door, eager to reach her before doubt could settle in again. Arriving at her place felt like stepping into a different world. The bright flowers in the garden greeted him cheerfully as he walked up the path. Mia was already outside, carrying a box of old supplies. She had plans to organize a fundraiser for the community center. As he walked up, her face lit up, and for a moment, the troubles of the world melted away. "Jack," she exclaimed, her smile infectious. "You came." "Of course I did. I just had to see you." He tried to sound more confident than he felt. "What do you need help with?" "The supplies for the fundraiser. I was going to start sorting them. I can't do it all alone." She looked hopeful, and he felt a rush of determination. No longer just a thing they would do together. This was real work for real change. He jumped in, helping her sort through old clothes, toys, and books. The two of them laughed, their connection strengthening with every shared story. Mia's spirit was bright, infectious, and he found it impossible not to feel lifted by her enthusiasm. They worked together for hours, but as they sorted through items, Jack couldn't shake off the nagging worry creeping back in. What would happen when his father found out about their plans? He had already warned Jack that he would disapprove. Each thought nagged at him, pulling him back into uncertainty. As they took a break, sipping lemonade on the porch, Jack decided to voice his fears. "Mia, I'm worried about my dad. He doesn't understand he'll do anything to keep me away from you from this." "Let him," she replied, her voice steady. "It's not about him. If you really want to fight, you have to be willing to stand up." Her gaze was firm, and he found strength in her words. "Yeah, you're right. But how? I mean, what if he threatens to cut me off? Or worse? That's the risk we take, Jack." She leaned closer, her eyes sparkling. "But think about how many people we can help. This isn't just about us. It's about our community. About giving people hope." Her passion ignited something in him. He wanted to be brave, to be daring, to break free from the chains of expectation. But doubt still loomed heavy. Just then, Jack's phone chimed, ruining the moment. It was a message from his father. "We need to talk. Now." He swallowed hard as Mia's expression shifted to concern. "What's wrong?" "It's my dad. He wants to meet." He paused, his heart racing. "I don't know what he's going to say. Or what he'll do." Mia reached for his hand, her thumb brushing against his palm. "Whatever happens, you don't have to face it alone. I'm here, Jack. I'll support you." The way she looked at him in that moment made his resolve harden. If he was going to fight for this, for her, he couldn't turn back now. I won't let him dictate my life anymore, he vowed, gripping her hand tighter. But what if it means losing everything? She asked, her eyes searching his for a flicker of doubt. Then it's worth it. Her smile returned, and he felt the warmth of hope seep into the cracks of his resolve. They both knew big changes were coming, and whatever storm lay ahead, they would face it together. As they stood there, hand in hand, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something monumental. Just then he sensed a shadow overhead, and looking up he saw a dark cloud roll in, blocking the sun. Something was shifting, and he hoped it was just the weather. But deep inside, he felt a brewing conflict. Would his father truly cast him aside? He had a choice to make, and the time to make it was running out. Would he stand firm in his beliefs, or would he let fear decide his path? Jack's heart pounded as he read the message again. He could feel Mia's anxious energy beside him, the relentless ticking of the clock on the porch reminding him that time was a fragile commodity. "Do you want me to go with you?" she asked softly, her eyes penetrating his thoughts. He looked at her, weighing the impact of each option. Part of him wanted her there for moral support, but another part feared what his father might do. What if the confrontation spiraled, and he lost her in the chaos? I don't know, he finally replied, running a hand through his hair. "Maybe it's better this way. I need to do this myself." Mia squeezed his hand tightly, her own fear evident. "Promise you'll tell me everything afterward?" "Promise." He forced a smile, hoping to mask the storm brewing inside him. Taking a deep breath, Jack pulled away from her and headed toward his car. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if he were walking through mud. The drive felt endless, silence stretching out like a tightrope. What awaited him at home? Would this be the moment his father formally dismantled their tenuous bond? The house loomed in front of him, its imposing structure a stark contrast to his swirling emotions. He parked and stepped inside. The moment he crossed the threshold, his father's voice echoed down the hallway, deep and authoritative. "Jack, get in here now." Jack's stomach dropped. The tone struck him like a bolt of lightning, instantaneously igniting a sense of dread. He walked slowly into the living room, apprehension building with each step. His father stood by the fireplace, arms crossed, radiating a dark authority that made Jack's breath catch in his throat. "Sit," his father commanded without so much as a greeting. "Dad, not a word." The sudden command made Jack's heart race. He sat, gathering his thoughts, wanting to hold on to the courage he had found earlier with Mia. "I got your message. What did you want to talk about?" His father's gaze narrowed, a storm brewing behind his eyes. "It's about Mia." Jack's heart sank. There it was, the name that could unravel everything. "What about her? You think this little project you've got going on is harmless? You're wrapped up in something that will ruin your future." He took a step closer, his voice lowering. "You belong to this family, our name, our reputation. You're going to throw it all away over some fundraiser?" Jack clenched his fists. "It's not just a fundraiser. It's about helping people. It's real, Dad. It matters. Don't be naive, Jack." The heated tone rang through the room. "You'll see the fallout once they start accusing you of playing savior. They'll drag you down with them. That's not what's going to happen. I'm going to make a difference." Jack shot back, his anger surging. His father's face grew darker, the disappointment palpable. "I won't allow this. If you choose her over us, you're making a choice. You'll face the consequences." "What consequences?" Jack asked, defiance rising within him. "You can't just dictate my life anymore. I'm not afraid of your threats." Silence hung heavily between them, the atmosphere crackling with tension. Jack could feel his heart thudding in his chest, the weight of his father's words filling the room. Here was the crossroads he dreaded, and it was about to take a turn. "Disown me if you want," Jack said, surprised by his own boldness. "But you won't stop me from trying to do something good." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the other room, breaking the tension. Both men turned, startled. Just then, Jack's mother entered with a look of panic on her face. "What on earth is happening?" Jack and his father exchanged a glance, both realizing in that moment that the conflict was about to spill beyond the two of them. "Mom, enough," she interrupted, her voice reaching a tone neither had heard from her before. Whatever came next, Jack knew this was only the beginning. Would he have the strength to face whatever storm his family unleashed? As he looked from one parent to the other, uncertain of what awaited him, a sense of foreboding washed over him. Everything could change in an instant, and for the first time, he felt the gravity of the choice he had already made. The real fight wasn't he truly just with his father anymore. It was the battle of his beliefs against the loyalty to his name. In that moment, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they were all on the same precipice. One misstep could send them tumbling. And he was terrified of where they might land. Jack's mother stepped further into the room, her eyes darting between the two men as if trying to piece together the fragments of their confrontation. The tension in the air felt almost tangible, thick enough to choke on. "What's going on?" she pressed, her voice quivering with a mixture of confusion and worry. "Why are you both shouting?" "It's nothing," Jack's father snapped, the annoyance clear in his tone. "This is between me and Jack." "Clearly, it's not just between you two," she retorted, crossing her arms tightly over her chest. "I have a right to know." Jack hesitated, searching his mother's face for an ally, for signs that she would step in and support him. But her expression held a storm of its own, caught between the loyalty to her husband and the concern for her son. "Mom, Dad's just unhappy about my decision to work with Mia on the fundraiser," Jack began, choosing his words carefully. "Fundraiser?" his mother echoed, eyes wide as she took a step forward, the instinct to protect her child shining through momentarily. "I thought you were making an effort to focus on your studies, not getting involved in whatever this is. It's not just a distraction. It's important." Jack felt the anger bubble inside him again. "It matters to people who need help. And it's about more than just me," he added, searching for the right words to convey the weight of his convictions. "Listen to your mother, Jack," his father barked. "Why? Because it's what's expected?" "To toe the line," Jack shot back, his voice breaking slightly. "I can't keep living my life to please you both. I need to be true to myself." The silence that followed was suffocating. Jack's heart was racing, a mixture of fear and determination fueling his words. His mother opened her mouth to speak, then closed it again, her brow furrowed in contemplation. "Jack," she finally whispered, and he felt a flicker of hope. Suddenly, his father stomped his foot, making the floor shake. "You think this is some sort of rebellion? You're just chasing a whim. You'll realize one day that all this charity nonsense will only bring you heartache." Jack's chest tightened. Was this really what it came down to? A fight over his future? He could feel every breath he took echoing in his ears, amplifying his growing frustration. Maybe heartache is better than being a part of an unfeeling machine. His mother took a shaky breath, her eyes searching Jack's face. "I just want what's best for you, Jack. You don't understand the dangers of what you're getting into." "And what about Mia?" Jack asked, his voice softening, searching for a connection. "She's not a danger. She's helping others just like I want to." "Enough." His father's voice thundered like a sudden storm, leaving Jack momentarily stunned. "You will cut ties with her. You will choose this family over your misguided loyalties." The ultimatum hung in the air as if it were a noose. Jack's heart raced with the weight of that demand, uncertainty now swirling around him like a blizzard. Disloyalty to his family felt like betrayal, yet loyalty felt like suffocation. "Mom, you have to see that this isn't just about me," Jack pressed, desperation creeping into his voice. "This is about making a choice, and it's about who I want to be." Jack caught a fleeting glimpse of understanding in his mother's eyes. Would she take his side? Would she stand up to her husband on Jack's behalf? Then the door slammed again, a loud intrusion that shattered the fraught atmosphere. Jack's breath hitched as Mia stepped into the room, confusion marring her usually bright face. "What's happening?" "I saw a commotion outside." In that moment, every set of eyes turned on her, each person wrestling with their own fears and desires. "Just a family discussion," Jack's father claimed forcefully, his voice a nasty growl. But Jack could only focus on the way Mia's presence illuminated the room, how her courage inspired him to keep fighting. "Stay out of this," his father warned, glaring at Mia. But Jack's resolve was hardening. Mia had every right to be here, just as he had every right to fight for what he believed in. He felt the spark of defiance in his chest, igniting a fire he couldn't suppress. Dad, Jack said, his voice steady, this isn't just my choice anymore. If you don't agree, then that's on you. But I know what I'm fighting for and I won't back down. He could feel the weight of the storm brewing, but he was ready to stand his ground. As the tension surged, he turned to Mia, momentum shifting in her favor. Would this moment redefine everything they stood for, or would it force them deeper into the shadows? The answer rushed toward them as swiftly as the wind, and neither Jack nor Mia knew just how hard it would blow. Jack felt the temperature in the room drop as his father's glare bore into him like a sudden frostbite. Mia stood there, her presence vibrant yet vulnerable, like a candle flickering amidst a tempest. Who do you think you are? Jack's father sneered, taking a step forward, his body tense with barely contained rage. You don't belong in this conversation, Mia. This is not your fight. But Mia didn't back down. I'm here because I care about Jack, she said, her voice steady despite the threat hanging in the air. And I won't let you intimidate him. Jack's heart raced. The beat echoed the longing for acceptance he had always craved from his father. And yet, here was Mia, unyielding, standing for him in a way he had never expected. See this? His father growled, addressing both Mia and Jack, his fists balled at his sides. This is what happens when you choose sentiment over responsibility. When you surround yourself with people who don't have a clue about the real world. Mia's chin lifted defiantly. Helping others isn't irresponsible. It's what makes the world better. All of this, she gestured around the room, is just fear. Fear of change. Change. Jack's voice cracked with disbelief. You think this is about change? It's about understanding what really matters. He was gaining momentum now, the storm inside him breaking free. Dad, it's not right to dictate my life like this. You're pushing people away, and I won't stand for it. Jack's mother took a step back, her hands trembling as she tried to process the chaos unfolding. Jack, please no. He interrupted, his voice rising above the cacophony of thoughts swarming in the room. Mom, you need to see that standing up for what's right is my decision too. If it means I fight to support others, I'll do it. Even if it means facing you both. The air was thick, a fragile line drawn in the emotional sand. Jack felt unsettled, yet exhilarated. Would he really choose this course? Would he dare to break free from the suffocating expectations of a world built on conformity and comfort? Mia's hand brushed against his, a silent support he could feel in his bones, igniting a warmth that pushed against the coldness that had been suffocating him. Jack, she said softly, I believe in you. You're not alone. A sharp intake of breath broke through Jack's resolve, as if Mia's words wrapped around him like a lifeline. But just then his father loomed closer, rage forcefully pulsing around him like a dark aura. You think this is about support? His voice seethed. This is about your future. You're throwing it away for a girl who has nothing to offer. Against that backdrop, Jack felt anchored. You're wrong, he said, his voice low but unwavering. Mia's helping people. She believes in something great. You can't see beyond your own fears. Stop this now. His father barked, his patience thinning. But Jack stood firm, feeling the invisible weight lift slightly as he spoke with authority he never knew he possessed. If I walk away from here today, it will be because I choose to live for what feels right, not what is comfortable. And if that means stepping away from you, then so be it. Silence enveloped them like a thick fog, as realization seeped into the room. His mother's eyes brimmed with tears, torn between a son who was growing into a man and a husband who needed to understand the shifting tides of their family. Just as Jack's heart beat in triumph, it wavered. Had he really said all that? Could he really draw that line? Suddenly, the door creaked open again, and a figure stood at the threshold, bigger, more intense, and unmistakably threatening. Jack's heart sank. The confrontation was far from over, and this newcomer could unravel everything he had fought for in an instant. Jack, what's going on in here? The voice boomed, shaking the very foundation of their battle. As the future loomed like an approaching storm, Jack felt a jolt in his chest. What would happen next? Who could really protect their dreams from the chaos that was ready to break loose? The newcomer stepped into the room, his imposing figure blocking the light from the hall. Jack squinted, trying to make out who it was despite the rush of emotions flooding through him. It was Uncle Frank, his father's brother, a man known for his hard-edged successes and sharp tongue. Jack felt a mix of disdain and anxiety. Frank, his father greeted, still tense, as if they were allies on the battlefield. Just in time. We have a situation here. Frank's gaze swept across them, his brother's furious expression, Mia's defiance, and Jack's newfound resolve. Looks like you've stirred the pot, Jack, he said, arching an eyebrow. What's going on? Jack opened his mouth, but found the words stuck in his throat like a dam desperate to burst. Mia squeezed his hand tighter, offering silent strength. Uncle Frank, he blurted out, I'm standing up for what I believe is right. I won't let my dad dictate my life anymore. Frank's eyes narrowed, and Jack braced himself for the backlash. Instead, the older man leaned against the doorframe, crossing his arms. And you think you're ready for that? This isn't just some high school drama, kid. Life's tough, and being a good person doesn't put food on the table. Jack felt a rush of heat, but Mia's presence anchored him. You don't understand, he shot back, his voice firm. I'm not just trying to be good. I'm trying to be real. What's the point of success if you're miserable? I want to make a difference. Uncle Frank stared at him, perhaps for the first time seeing the fire in Jack's eyes. And how do you plan to do that? By throwing away your future? By choosing my own path, Jack replied, the conviction in his voice resonating off the walls. Mia is part of that path. She believes in people and change, and that's worth my loyalty, worth everything. A flicker of surprise crossed Frank's features, followed by what looked like admiration. You've grown up, Jack, he said, his tone softening. But I'm still concerned for you. Mia stepped forward. We all have concerns, Mr. Franklin. But life is about choices. Jack is choosing to support his ideals, and I'm here for him. Maybe if you tried to understand, you'd see how important this is. Frank looked at her, a trace of uncertainty touching his features. You're a brave kid, but ambition doesn't always come easy. Sometimes it's about sacrifices you have to make. For a brief moment, silence reigned again. Jack could see uncertainty playing on his father's face too. This was a family fracturing and rebuilding, all at once. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Frank finally said, but there was a hint of something softer, almost an invite to the conversation. Why don't we all sit down and talk this out like adults? Jack exchanged a glance with Mia, relief mingling with caution. Maybe this was a chance, a moment to be heard, a chance for all sides to share their truths. But as relief washed over Jack, a nagging thought flickered at the back of his mind. Was Uncle Frank truly willing to listen? Or was this just a way to maintain control, a chance to reel them back in? Jack, his mother finally spoke, her voice trembling but determined. Whatever you choose, we love you. Just remember the path is yours to take, but don't expect us to agree with every decision, his father added, the battle lines still faintly drawn in his frosty tone. Jack's heart sank as he processed this. Love was supposed to be unconditional. Yet here were the ties that could bind or choke the very essence of freedom he craved. Before he could respond, Frank shifted uneasily. We've got a lot to discuss, but perhaps now isn't the time. Why don't we reconvene later? As they all exchanged uncertain glances, something deep inside Jack stirred. Would he truly have the courage to speak up when the stakes got higher? Would he continue to fight for his beliefs, even when the ground beneath his feet felt unsure? And could he hold on to Mia? To the connection that had sparked so fiercely within him despite their chaos? He took a breath, fear mixed with anticipation. No, we need to talk now. I want you back down. Again. As those words hung in the air, Jack felt something shift, a new sense of determination. But with the shadows of his family history looming overhead, he wondered, would understanding ever break the cycle of fear? And as the echoes of confrontation filled the room, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that more challenges lay ahead, waiting to test his resolve. The air felt charged, almost electric, as Uncle Frank's expression darkened. Jack's pulse raced, and he could sense his own desperation rising like a flood. This was it, the moment everything could change. Okay, Jack, Frank said slowly, his voice measured but edged with frustration. Let us talk. But understand there are consequences for these decisions. You're deciding to turn your back on a future that's been laid out for you. Jack squared his shoulders, feeling Mia's grip tighten around his hand. That future isn't mine, Uncle Frank. It's yours or Dad's. I don't want to live someone else's dream anymore, he said, each word tasting bitter on his tongue, but ringing true in his heart. Frank cast a sidelong glance at Jack's father, who remained silent, the tension weighing heavily between them. Jack could almost see the thought process unfolding, his father's disappointment blending with hatred for Frank's influence over Jack. I hear that, Frank replied, trying to remain calm. But let me remind you, the world isn't as forgiving as your little fantasies suggest. They'll chew you up and spit you out if you let them. It's not a fantasy. Jack shot back, anger flaring up. What kind of success comes at the cost of your happiness? You're not trapped in the same rut you were before. Don't make me live your mistakes. Mia took a step closer, her presence solid, grounding Jack. Life is about navigating your own path. Jack is daring to step into the unknown. And that is something you should support, not undermine. Frank looked at Mia, and for a brief moment, a flicker of recognition danced in his eyes. You're assertive, I'll give you that, he remarked. But what do you know about real life? Just wait until you face the stakes. More than you think, Jack jumped in. I've watched my family choose mistakes over happiness for too long. I'm done accepting scraps of love and pity. We can't help you if you push us away, Frank replied, frustration creeping back into his voice. You'll be alone, Jack. And that is not a choice anyone should want for themselves. I'd rather be alone, Jack countered, than living a lie. Maybe being alone would help me find what real family means. An uncomfortable silence lingered then, each glance filled with unspoken words and buried pain. Jack could feel the weight of years pressing down through the air. They were standing at the edge of revelation. And yet turmoil thundered beneath the surface. Let us find a way through this, Frank finally said, folding his arms tighter. If we can share some of those ideas, maybe there is a path we can agree on. His father shifted uncomfortably, glancing at Jack. I still don't like it, Jack, but if you insist on pursuing this, you need to tread lightly. You can't just ignore the risks. Jack inhaled sharply, the mix of relief and anxiety flooding his lungs. I appreciate that, but I'm not asking for permission. I need you to see that, even if you can't understand. Suddenly, Jack's mother interjected. Just promise you'll stay safe, honey. We don't want to lose you, to her voice cracked, and hope hung in the room like a fragile ornament. When Jack didn't respond immediately, the silence seemed to expand, growing heavier. Mia, sensing the tension, stepped forward again. It's more than okay to disagree. But it's possible to move forward together, isn't it? Jack held his breath, searching his uncle's expression while eagerly awaiting a response. But Frank's face hardened, wrestling with something deeper, something buried by years of expectation and pride. Yeah, it's possible, Frank finally conceded, his voice low. But only if we can do it without destroying everything we've built. Jack nodded, but the apprehension nagged at him. The echoes of their agreement felt fragile, ready to break at any moment. Would they really find common ground? Or was this just another fleeting moment of hope before the inevitable fallout? With a new determination rising within him, Jack's heart raced at the thought of revealing his own struggles. Then let us talk about how to build something real. Together. As those words settled between them, anticipation hung thickly in the air. Jack could practically see the potential for change, but would they truly embrace this chance for unity? And with one last glance at Mia, he wondered if they could navigate their way forward, or if they were destined to repeat history's mistakes. Would this be the moment that led to transformation, or was it just another false dawn? The air still crackled with tension, yet Jack felt something shifting. Maybe it was the conversation with Uncle Frank that stirred potential in a strange way. Or perhaps it was the unwavering light shining from Mia's eyes. Jack swallowed hard, summoning every ounce of courage within him. Then let us really talk, he said, breaking the suffocating silence. It's time we all put our cards on the table. Mia nodded, bolstering his confidence. We don't have to agree on everything, but we need to listen. This is about more than just Jack and me, it's about everyone who believes in a better future. Exactly, Frank replied slowly, settling back against the doorframe, folding his arms like a bridge that could either connect or divide them. If you're passionate about this, I want to see it. Show us what you both are envisioning. Jack glanced at Mia, her enthusiasm sparking something inside him. All right, here's the plan. We're organizing a community fundraiser. It's going to bring people together. We want to help educate, provide resources, and create opportunities for those who feel trapped like Mia once did. Mia Kaimdin. We want to create a space where everyone can work toward their aspirations, regardless of their backgrounds. We believe in each other's potential, and we want others to believe in theirs too. Jack's father frowned, casting doubtful glances at Frank before returning his focus to Jack. But how do you expect to fund this? Where will the money come from? Jack straightened his back, pushing against the weight of skepticism. We'll reach out to local businesses for donations and partner with organizations willing to support our cause. There's power in numbers, Dad. At that moment, Jack's mother took a step closer, her eyes softening as she breathed in their ambition. I can help with the outreach, Jack. I may know a few contacts that could contribute. Maybe your dad can help too? Jack's father shifted uncomfortably, a mix of surprise and indignation flickering across his expression. And why would I support a venture like this? It's a waste of time. Mia's voice rang out, filled with conviction. No, it's not a waste. Think about it, this isn't just charity. It's investing in the future generations. You could be a part of something genuine. Jack could see a crack beginning to form in his father's defenses. Glancing at Frank, Jack felt a surge of hope. Uncle Frank, you've always talked about social responsibility. Wouldn't this align with that? Frank studied them for a moment, the glimmer of consideration apparent in his eyes. If you can show me how this will work on a larger scale, how it'll actually make an impact, then maybe there's potential. Let us prove it to you, Jack urged, leaning into the momentum building around them. This isn't just for us. This is our chance to change lives, to make a meaningful impact. As the words hung in the air, a quiet sense of realization enveloped the room. Each family member wrestled with their emotions: fear, hope, and the daunting possibilities of the future. Mia turned to Jack, her gaze fierce and steady. We need to show them we're serious, Jack. This is just the beginning. Let us work together, Jack replied, a bright smile breaking through the tension. We'll draft a plan, define our goals, and bring everyone on board with our vision. His father shifted, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. This better not be some whimsical fantasy of yours. You have to understand there's gravity in these decisions. I do, Jack said passionately. But that's why they matter. If we all pull together, then maybe we can forge a new path. This is our chance to redefine what success looks like. Not through money or status, but through creating meaningful connections. Frank stepped forward, his expression contemplative. I'll help you both with strategy, but you need to do the groundwork. It can't just be talk. Put your ideas into motion. I'll support it if you show me commitment. As Jack held Mia's gaze, energized by the shared determination, he felt a renewed sense of hope flooding in. This was more than just a fight to prove themselves. This was about creating a ripple effect that extended beyond their lives. His father, still visibly conflicted, finally sighed, as if a weight lifted ever so slightly. Fine. But if this goes sideways, I won't be the one to bail you out. Thank you, Jack said, tears of relief gleaming in his eyes. But more than gratitude, he felt a sudden rush of possibility, each moment swirling in anticipation. I don't care about the consequences, he continued, locking eyes with Mia. This is our journey together, and I want to take it with you. Relief washed over her face, and a radiant smile spread across her lips. Together, she affirmed softly, squeezing his hand. That steadiness in their bond resonated through the room, binding them to their vision. The fight ahead would surely be challenging, the stakes high, but together, they could face anything. As hours turned into plans, the echoes of their past faded, replaced by the melodies of new beginnings. With every word exchanged and every goal set, they forged a future where love and resilience triumphed over superficiality and fear. And outside, the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm golden glow. As if the universe itself was blessing this new path they had chosen, a path towards hope, determination, and the promise of something beautiful. Mia and Jack stood, hand in hand, ready to write their story anew. A story not just of their potential but of the courage to inspire others. Now more than ever, Jack knew one thing. They were not only fighting for their dreams but igniting the dreams of many others. With hearts wide open, they took their first steps into a brighter tomorrow. As their laughter filled the room, now was the moment for you to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support because together, we can change the world. Don't wait not even one more second to share.